yesterday, and this could have been a lot worse. So first, we now know the names of 2 people killed in the mall. Robert Padilla was on the escalator when he was struck. He died at an area hospital. Jo Acker, according to a family member, Joe was a security guard.
Now, the shooter also died today at the hospital. His name has been released. It is Jacob Bergquist. He was the lone gunman who shot up the mall, according to police, using several guns. Police finding at least 18 used shell casings scattered about the scene.
Now, as for those wounded in this shooting yesterday, all 3 are women. Now, 2 were shot inside the mall.
And there was a third woman, a 68-year-old woman, who was hit while she was driving her car down Milwaukee. All 3 women, we're told, have non-life-threatening injuries.
And as you can imagine, this shooting has impacted Idahoans all across the valley. Many showing up at the Boise Towne Square Mall today, which, by the way, it is still closed.
Still closed, and we have no idea when it will reopen. CBS 2's Marcos Guadarrama has spent most of the day out at the mall and joins us now here in studio with the latest.
Brett, Natalie, it was a very somber day at Boise Towne Square Mall. I watched as many people came and went, not knowing the building was closed. I spoke to some of them to get their reaction.
Everybody's going to be on guard, and I'm glad. I'm glad. It's just going to help everybody come together and stick together.
It's a sad day in Boise. People are in shock following a deadly shooting at Boise Towne Square Mall.
Kind of some shock, I guess. I mean, it's not often you hear about a shooting, especially at the mall. Usually it's school shootings.
Being a combat veteran, it just, it hit real close to home, because that's obviously what we want to do is keep targets abroad. This stuff that's happening here is really unfortunate, but it's just, we're still a community. We're going to come together. We're going to be stronger, and it's sort of a wake-up call.
I definitely am surprised to see it happen here, especially in the mall of all places. I have some friends that used to work at the mall. You mentioned it being a fairly safe place for folk to come and walk around.
Many people are thankful for the quick response by police.
My wife texted me that there was at least 1 in custody, I believe, and thoughts at that point where law enforcement came in, did its job. They reacted, from what it sounds like, very quickly. Only 2 dead, 4 wounded.
People who visit the mall say the shooting will not instill fear.
I'm not particularly fearful to go out in public. I know that active shooters are a very rare anomaly. Unfortunately, it does happen. It's been happening a bit more often recently. But I'm still feeling safe. I know my wife is still feeling safe, and it doesn't strike fear into my heart.
Still, Treasure Valley residents are hopeful this can bring our community together.
It's just, it is sad, and this has been a tough couple years for all of us in America. But sometimes it felt like we were immune, in the Treasure Valley. But like I said, we're going to stick together. We're going to protect each other.
Now, the mall does remain closed this evening. We did reach out to the parent company, but have not heard back a response. Live in the studio, Marcos Guadarrama, CBS 2 News.
Marcos, thank you. Police, and we're talking about several agencies, federal, state, and local, have been working around the clock on this shooting investigation. In fact, they served a search warrant on Fry Street in Boise.
That's right. There is a multi-state effort going on, as Brent just said, to learn more about who this shooter was. Boise police believe that he did act alone, and despite what you might be reading on social media, police say there's no evidence of any additional planned attacks.
Now, we did hear from Macy's today. It was near their department store that several people were shot, including the security guard. Macy's says it is deeply saddened by the tragic event that took place in Boise at the Boise Towne Square Mall. The department store says its thoughts and prayers are with the victims and their families.
Something else, the mall is working with stores and employees to recover all of those items that some people may have left behind at the mall, including vehicles. Something else, we've been hearing from people and agencies all across the state. Nampa police through Twitter are praising the brave citizens who took action to help one another in such a terrifying situation. They say our hearts are heavy for the families who lost loved ones, and we send best wishes for a full recovery to all who are injured.
CBS 2 News will continue to cover this developing story. We continue to ask the questions, and we will tell you when we get answers to those questions. Extensive coverage also available on idahonews.com. And we'll have another update from Marcos coming up in just a few minutes here in this newscast.
Turning to some of the other news this afternoon.